Hi, my name is Dr. Ashley Love. I am an outgoing board of trustee for SOFI this year. I am a proud member of SOFI, and what I love about SOFI is the fact that it's like a family connection. Also, we're building capacity as well as teaching our future generation of health educators and public health educators to make a better world. SOFI, in terms of a professional organization, all the folks who are very prominent in the field, they are willing to mentor as well as kind of take you on as a new member when I started. So it's been a long time since I've been in public health field, roughly about 25 years. And I just still remember how, like, the warm, fuzzy feeling that you get when, even if it's a larger organization, the SOFI members and also the leadership, they make you feel like you are like one of them, one-on-one. It's just that nice connection where you don't feel like an outsider, but it's like a family who is willing to help you professionally as well as to also help you to kind of figure out what areas of public health and public health education or health educators that you want to be. So it's been a very wonderful journey, and still, even 2 decades later plus more, I still look to a lot of the members and also leadership to get my mentorship and also figure out what I want to do as well. So so I'm gonna actually share an experience that I just had today. So I just presented on AI, use of AI in legal epidemiology and how that impacts our health education and public health education. And one of the audience members came up and said, "I know you." And I said, "I don't understand. Do you have a question for the AI presentation?" And it turns out the wife of who was attending, she was also in the audience, both of them are SOFI members, was my student 10 years ago. And it just like a full circle where I'm like, out of 10 years, a decade has gone by, and you see another person, and that person is already in their profession. I was one of her teachers, and it's really wonderful to see that you're presenting, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they come up and they attend your session and get that recognition, that full circle, that we are making an impact. Because sometimes it's hard to see, because the impact takes a long time, especially in public health, but just those moments are very precious. I think when I started out, like over 2 decades ago, service was a big component of my personal value and core. I'm also active duty military spouse for the last 2 decades. So my life has been very different from a lot of the folks, because we move every 2 to 4 years. So I ended up living in Germany, Korea, and multiple states, and you don't realize the imprint that you have over the years as you move. And then the moments like that where I'm meeting a student that I think I was stationed in Korea, and she was my student, and for her to come up and tell me that I was her professor in public health, it's very impactful. And also the fact that I've not always been in academia. I've also worked for the state. I was the state epidemiologist back in, 2009, when actually Joe Biden was a senator in Delaware. And I was dealing with the pandemic, H1N1, and it wasn't advertised or it was in the media just because it wasn't like COVID-19. And to have all that training in public health, hands-on, the practical experience that you need to have, it's been very meaningful looking back. When I was going through it, I didn't think so, but having been able to look back for the last 2.5 decades or so, I could see some of the impact, but there's a lot of work that we need to do. I think it's making sure that we have that abundance thinking, as well as making sure that we build capacity and be good mentors and be able to pass on our knowledge to the next generation, and making sure that we're pivoting too with the new technology instead of running away from it. So yeah, so it's been very, very interesting so far. I think it's important to make sure that you can communicate what you're researching and what you're working on. We do such a great job of doing the research, doing a lot of things, but I think we need more training or have more opportunities where we're speaking at these conferences and other outlets to ensure that we're disseminating this wonderful, ideas and also innovative things that we're doing to the public. So presenting in a organization like Sophie is wonderful because it's not just me presenting, but it's a conversation with your audience. So not only are you articulating what you're working on, but you also get input from the audience. So you get different perspective, different voices, and also get more ideas and also building capacity, because you can't be an island. You have to work with others. So it gives people an opportunity to work with you, as well as providing, let's say, students who want to work with you as well. And as devastating as COVID-19 pandemic it has been, but working remotely is accepted now. So I can have a student working, somewhere else in the country, and they don't necessarily physically be located in the same place that I'm in. So there's lots of opportunities. I'm very, very excited about all the things that we can do with colleagues, students, and various different organizations to make system change, make policy changes, and engage in advocacy and policy work. I've met a lot of close colleagues whom I can just call or email or text about various different things, work, research, etc. So it's been a wonderful experience. It's very inclusive. You feel like you belong. And like I mentioned before, I'm a active duty military spouse, so I move every couple of years, which means that I always have to find my new culture, new people everywhere I go. And I know that Sophie is very, very special because they just embrace you. I know when I move to different locations, that's not you have to really try hard to be part of the group. So I think any member, new or old, early career to advanced career, being part of Sophie, it just, you just know that you have a home. For me, coming to these meetings, even presenting, I do get nervous because it's, everyone gets nervous right before presenting, but it feels very warm. So when I'm presenting, I feel like I'm lecturing in front of my students. A lot of the presentations have gone really well, and they're very thoughtful about how they put together the conferences, as well as making sure that everyone has an opportunity. And of course, rigor and all that stuff takes into consideration, but it's been a very positive experience being part of the group. So it's like being part of the pack, So I, even when I attend different conferences, I can point out Sophie members, like for instance, American Public Health Association, APHA. I'm very active in that organization, and out of like 14,000 people, I can pick out, or I always run into Sophie members, and that's a really great feeling. One of the many things that Sophie does is, one of them are webinars that they have. National Health Education Week, we have all these webinars that are featured depending on the themes. There's Advocacy Summit, where people, all walks of life, not just students, learn how to advocate for policies and regulations, etc. at the Hill. And it's a skill set that you're not born with. And I know for me, when I was a state epidemiologist, I thought just giving facts about health to the to the politician would be like, it's evidence-based, I know what I'm talking about, but that's not how it works. You have to be able to communicate in a way that is simple, but in that context, and that's one of the skill sets that, that other conference provides. And there's all these different committees. I'm part of the finance committee. I was part of nomination committee, communication committee. I think the list goes on, but there's many ways to actually engage in SOFI members and also leadership. So you're part of the organization, even if you're not, like I said, I am the outgoing trustee, but you don't have to have a leadership role per se where you're elected to the board, but be part of several different committees, standing committees, and also ad hoc committees where you're doing various different things to make a difference. I think anything that you do that's closer to making a systemic change and addressing health disparities, it's a good thing. So